Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. I'm your host, Scott Friedman, and today I'm inspired to focus more on being myself because of all of the things that I've repeated to myself over the years that have uplifted me and helped me and spurred me on and encouraged me. It's the thought that uh, being myself is my best chance. There's no guarantee that being myself is going to result in any specific success or accomplishment, but I'm a 100% certain that it's my best chance. And I'm all about percentages because I don't feel that anything is 100% certain, other than the fact that ultimately we'll all reach enlightenment at some point. That I do believe is 100% certain. But beyond that, all of the details of how it's all going to unfold are, in flux. But what we can do and what I am looking to do is to up my percentage chances, right? If my percentage chances are 90%, I want to make them 95%, right? I mean, anything I can do to up my chances of success, I want to do, and certainly being myself. And a lot of times, being myself uh, doesn't mean going along with what the quote unquote conventional wisdom is. I'll give you, some examples from my life is that I've never actually gotten a job that I applied for. All of the clients that I've gotten, all the jobs that I've gotten, well, I don't know, maybe the clients we'll dig into that later, but certainly the jobs that I've gotten, they were offered to me because people, liked the cut of my jib. They liked who I was. They wanted me as part of their organization and because of who I was and not so much because of any specific thing that I did, but just because I was me. And I mean, my coming out of college, I got a job at Union Carbide, which at the time was the fifth largest company in the United States. And I didn't even apply for a job there. I went for an engineering interview there, and a sales manager showed up and offered me a sales job, which I eventually took and stayed with for 7 years. And I had no intention of becoming a salesman, and I had no idea that that's what I needed to do. I mean, think about how barren is a life when we're devoid of social skills, and I had none. I mean, I just did not have social. I won't say none. My social skills were minimal. I was nervous in all kinds of situations, and being a salesman, really went a long way towards healing that. And now, I had friends before, but now I have, deeper and more uplifting friendships and stuff, and it's really made a huge difference in my life. And it was the perfect job for me, even though I didn't think so, right? When the interviewer asked me what my idea of sales was, I says pushing things on people they don't want or need, and so so it kind of really gives you an idea of what I thought about sales, right? But you know what? And he said, "Well, it's a little different here. Would you like to hear about it?" And I went like, yeah, I guess I got 20 minutes left in the interview. Go for it. And he was just he loved that spunk. And it was like, and I was just being me, wasn't trying to be anything else. I was like in my mind saying, I didn't sign up for a sales interview. I'm not interested in sales. I told you I'm not interested in sales, and you're still pursuing it. Well, whatever. It's like, and that was sort of what was in my mind. Not I'm trying to get this coveted job that they're going to hire, less than one of 200 people that they interview for, right? And, you know what I mean? And geez, with that job, I mean, they paid for me to go skiing. They paid for me to go fishing off the Queen Charlotte Islands. I mean, within the first few months of my employment, there was a sales meeting at La Costa, and it was like, and I got to go to La Costa and have fun and play tennis and enjoy the resort. It was like and get paid doing it. I mean, it did not cost me. I got paid doing it. I mean, it was really, for a kid right out of college, it was just a great job. I mean, they put $250,000, which was a whole lot more money then than it is now, even 1976, into training me. I mean, it was, there were a lot of really fantastic things about the job. But ultimately, I left it because, you know what, I wanted to make a bigger difference in the world than I felt I could make there. And so I left it. And we can debate all day long as to whether that was a good decision or a bad decision and whether or not I could have done more or less staying there and stuff. But you know what? I did what I did. But my point is that uh, it was a great job at the time, and it was the perfect job that I needed at the time, and I got it by being myself. And I've gotten, other jobs by being myself, and that I never applied for, because people knew me and they wanted me. And so you know, it's been a challenge, right? Because I in my marketing, I go, well, what can I do to be more authentic? What can I do to be more me? And it's being more open, being more honest. When I got into the mortgage business, I thought, well, I was told to call all the CPAs in this book and offer my services and stuff. And it was like, well, I had to find some way to be authentic about it that I could feel it was uplifting and was increasing my self-acceptance. And so I said, well, so I decided on saying, look, I'm Scott Friedman. I'm calling to introduce myself. I'm new in the mortgage business, which means I have time for you and your clients. And at that time, there was a refi boom going on, and people were not getting their phone calls returned, and people were not being well serviced. And so I got some return phone calls from some of the most coveted business manager clients out there, and the clients that everybody wanted, and again, it was by being authentic. And okay, you can say I applied for the job, but I applied for the job with a level of authenticity that I found uplifting, right? I said I can stand behind this, right? And now that I'm working on building a coaching business, I'm working on once again, being able to offer my services with, I mean, I'm still in the mortgage business, right? But, almost 40 years later, but, but, uh, but I'm really looking at growing a cult coaching business because my heart's desire is to have coaching clients who are very influential, and I'm supporting them in reaching more than half of the world's population, inspiring, encouraging them to adopt win-win thinking and to earn $100 million a year in coaching fees doing that. And that's what I want to do. That's the thought that brings me joy. And that's a similar thing to when I was marketing for the mortgages early on, is that there was this joy of self-acceptance in my expression, and it's like, okay, and it's like I'm inspired to coach people to make a global difference in accepting win-win solutions. And you know what? I, the thing that really, you know, lifts me up is that I owe it to myself to give myself a chance to do that. I mean, how magnificent would that be? It's like, man, that would be awesome to coach people and have those influential people promoting win-win solutions and implementing those win-win solutions in their life and sharing the examples and the joy that comes with that. It was like, I mean, how could I not give myself a chance to do that, right? Am I inspired to do that? Yeah, I'm inspired to do that, and so what am I gonna do? I've got to go and give it my best shot, right? And and part of me, yeah, you know what? Part of me thinks, That's pie in the sky. That's crazy talk. You're never gonna do that. Who are you and all that stuff. But you know what? Um, I just owe it to myself to try. I do. And you know what's true is that I've been able to perform in all the opportunities I've gotten, right? So in all the jobs that I've gotten, I've done the job, you know. And uh, when I coach people, I mean, it's uplifting. We get into the zone, right, where there's that spontaneous wisdom flowing that uplifts everybody in the whole world, right, and is exciting, and everybody resonates with it and stuff, and it's like, am I good at that? Yeah, I'm good at that, and it's like, and I'm so great at helping people identify what they're doing that's working, and when they're in the zone, and when they're participating in win-win solutions, and when they're spontaneous, and when their joy and their wisdom and their love is flowing forth spontaneously in a way that's absolutely optimal for everyone involved. It's like, am I good at that? Yeah, I am great at that, and you know what, and that's being me. And so I'm doing my best to be myself, and help uh, inspire other people to be themselves, and to experience being one with all things, because that's what happens when you're in the flow and it's spontaneous. There's no self-consciousness. There's just being you, and you know what? And I want to have it's exciting to me to even consider the fact that me being me can inspire you being you, because example is the most powerful form of leadership. And so I'm gonna do it as best I can. You know what? And trust me, if you, uh, it's not for everybody. I get that. And what I tell people is that uh, sign up for a free coaching session. Find out if it's for you. Trust me, if we resonate together, and we find it uplifting and stuff, I mean, you're gonna leave thinking, man, this was the answer to my dreams. And if we don't connect, and it's not really what you're looking for, we're gonna leave saying, you know what, bless you, I hope you find what you're looking for. And we're not a fit, but there is a fit for you out there, and just keep going until you find your fits. So I mean, it's like, it's worth it. It's worth it to find out, because boy, I'm telling you, if it's a match, I guarantee you, I mean, it'll change your life. It's changed other people's lives. And so, it's so funny, because like when I talk about being myself, it's like, oh my goodness, it's like there's confidence, there's strength, there's inspiration, there's wisdom, there's all this stuff. And when I'm trying to be what I think other people want me to be, or what I should be, or what's worked for other people, it's like, oh God. Not fun, and not successful, and not beneficial to anybody. So I'm here, doing the best I can to be myself, and to offer myself and my inspiration. I mean, some of my coaching clients, they just want me to share about the growth that I'm experiencing in my life, because being myself inspires them to be themselves, and that's what they want, right? And that's what works, right? So it's like in my coaching, it's like, the whole universe is open, right? It's like, we focus on being present and allow whatever comes to come, and we're in the zone, and we're in the flow, and whatever that means. And if it means telling my story, fine. If it means listening to you tell your story, if it means sharing wisdom I've discovered, if it means you helping me, it doesn't matter. Whatever it means, as long as it's in the flow, and it's uplifting, and it's bringing greater love and joy, and enthusiasm, and success, and health, and vitality, then you know what? It's good. It's not only is it good, it's the best. So, that's what the coaching is. And it can go anywhere, right? The one characteristic it's going to have is it's going to be joyful. It's going to be uplifting. It might be deeply healing. It might be, hysterically funny. It could be all kinds of things, right? But it's going to be optimal. It's going to be a great experience, because any experience where we're in the flow is a great experience. And and my coaching, all my clients Uh, when we're coaching, we're in the flow and it's happening. So if you want to find out whether or not we're a fit, email me at scottfriedman40 @gmail.com. That's SCOTTFRIEDMAN 40 @gmail.com. My books are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. And be well, be excited, be yourself. There's this great quote, and I'm going to just paraphrase it, and I've forgotten the guy's name now, Richard Thurman, maybe, I'm not sure. It says, don't ask what the world needs. Uh, don't do what the world needs. Do what makes you vitally alive, because what the world needs is people who are vitally alive. And the way to be vitally alive is for you to be you. And I'm here to support you through being an inspiring example and every other way I can in helping and supporting you be you and me be me. All right. Look forward to talking to you. Bye.